y'all was to let me out now, I would get treatment and go home and never come back to this messed up state ever.
Perfect. David Hack is 2405F5122. And what are we doing on Mr. Hack today?
Judge, Mr. Colette sent me some notes. It looks like the petition was filed because Mr. Hack tested positive for some substances while he was on probation. Mr. Colada said that he substantially completed a good portion of the probation. And while he was out, he had a good job, and the job is willing to hold his position if he's able to get into treatment. So our request today would be for him to be reinstated for probation and have treatment as the term of probation.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So we're looking at drug screens. Multiples. Ms. McCright, what is your recommendation? What was the state's recommendation be if he were to admit today?
Your Honor, this wasn't just a one-time positive drug screen. It looks like it was several, and so finally they referred him to Project 180, and he did not show up for that. So it looks like he has a substance abuse issue that he's not willing to address. So my recommendation would be for the mass program through community corrections.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
May I say something, please?
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, if you waive your right to remain silent, is being recorded and can be used against you. But of course, you can say whatever you want.
I understand that. I have been currently going to Project 180 up until the time that they violated me. I had an appointment the same day, not only with Project 180, but with Kat from Thrive, the day that they violated me. And then that morning, Project 180 called and said that Miss Ashley had to reschedule because she had an emergency with family. I've been going. I missed one appointment with Project 180 due to the fact that I couldn't get there on time. Were the lady saying that I was not going to that? I don't get that because I was going.
Well, here's where we are. So this says, and it does mention that you were there for 2 months or almost 2 months. Says on October 28th, 2025, defendant was referred to Project 180 through LifeSpring. The defendant was no call, no show for appointments on December the 15th. And then again on January the 21st. So there are 2 of those is what they're saying. Let me look at this. September, November, drug screen showed positive for amphetamine. In December, signed an admission for those.
And what is community corrections?
Community corrections would be either the ankle bracelet, because they said they would take you on the ankle bracelet, or the MAST program, which is day reporting, but
I'm homeless. I don't have an address. I'm homeless.
That's a whole different problem.
And my probation was supposed to have been up on the 25th, and I've been here since February 11th. That gives me credit for 4 months and 4 days with the 2-for-1 on the level 6. So wouldn't I actually have served my actual remaining time out?
So what you had was 1 year probation, and if you do 11 months of that probation and then get violated, you still have to do the full year. You don't get any credit for the time you were doing on probation successfully, but you do get every day you've done in jail. So you were picked up
February 11th.
We're the 11th. Okay, so then we've got 2.5 months of credit now, which is, like you said, 5 against your 12. So you still got a lot to go.
Because ain't on a level 6 with the year, wouldn't that only be 6 months, sir?
Yeah, but you're trying to say you only have a month left. You're cutting it twice. It's 6 actual months. So that means if you were arrested February 11th, it'd be August 11th.
So I've talked to some of the officers in the jail, and because when I called the public defender's office, they said something about the community corrections, and I mentioned that me not having a address other than a hotel, that I could still do the community corrections, that they just put me on a ankle monitor on the GPS with my phone.
Don't know about that. I know they want you to have a stable housing, so I don't think you could do it if you're bouncing place to place. So I don't think that works that way.
But if I'm going into treatment, wouldn't that considered a stable place while I'm in treatment for a 28-day program?
Well, for 28 days, yeah, but then what do you do at the end of that? You know what I mean? You gotta have a stable place for 6 months.
I,
All right.
I would, that would give
Here's
me
what
an
we have to do.
opportunity to be able to get one, cause, I had an opportunity to move back in with my ex-wife to help take care of our daughter because she has Down syndrome and stuff, and she lives in New Albany. And I got violated before I had a chance to get more information on what she needed done.
So what I'm gonna do, Mr. Hack, is set you for June the 16th. And that means, give me 1 second. That gives, it's not Ms. Singh, it's Donald, Mr. Collada, the opportunity to work with community correction and see what programs they might have that would work for you. See if they could put you on the ankle bracelet for 28 days while you're inpatient and then reassess at the end of that. Give me
So
some more.
what's the other pro you was talking about, daily reporting?
Same, you still need a housing. You still need to be somewhere. And that's where you show up every day for class. You call every day, you show up 4 days, 5 days a week for classes. That's something you can ask Mr. Collada about. It's the MAST program, but I'm not sure if they'll, if you would fit in that or not. I don't know. June the 16th, we're going to come back and do this again. If, just Mr. Hack, if you were to admit to the violation today, what I would do is give you credit for admitting the violation. Instead of revoking 12 months, I revoke 11. That still means you have to serve 5.5 months. So we're still going to come back well ahead of that 5-month window. So make sure to talk with Mr. Collada and see what options he can find for me for June 16th.
I mean, is there a option that I could get like OR today to be able to find housing to be able to do community corrections?
Is no, and I get that it handcuffs
Because
you.
me being indigent in here, I can't even use the phone to even call anybody to even get to be able to get an address. So, I mean, it's like a catch-22. My hands are hindered no matter what I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here since February and I got a new attorney I've not seen not one time. And here I am in front of y'all and I've not seen this man not one time.
So,
So I feel that I'm not even
understand.
getting proper representation or anything. And then y'all just want to, so I'm to the point where I'm about ready to just say, you just served me on out.
Well, we can do that in June. We can do it now or in June if that's where you decide you want to go. Here's the thing. I get that that's just the way the system is set up. We want you to do this before we'll let you out, but you can't do that until you get out. And it's a circle. I get that, but I'm not willing to let you out because you had multiple drug screens while you were out and you weren't doing probation well. So
and I've been working with Thrive in here, and I just had my assessment yesterday with Dalen from Thrive with Turning Point. They just don't have a bed open. They're trying to find me a bed right now. I have treatment to go to.
So here's a possibility, Mr. Hack.
And at least gives me access to a phone every day to find an address.
Mr. Hack, settle down for a second. Here's the thing. We come back in June. You have the option of admitting, and I'd revoke 11 months, which is 5.5 actual. You'd still have about 60 days to serve in county. Or we come back in June. If you've got a place to go for 28 days, I could probably be convinced to take an admission and return you to probation and let you go to the inpatient thing. So you get both things done. You get your case completed and you get some inpatient treatment. It's not something we do today because I wouldn't be willing to do that until the last 60 or 90 days of your sentence anyway. So talk to Mr. Collada, keep working with Thrive. When we come back in June, you find me a place that has suitable housing for you for 30 days, and I could probably be convinced to cut you loose then.
So if I was to say, just go ahead and violate it all and let me do my time, how much more time am I looking at?
It would be 5.5 months from February the 11th. So that would be end of September.
So I come back to court when?
That's not July, being in July, wouldn't it? Yeah, math's off there. You're going to come back in June, and if you were to admit now or then, you would get out the end of July, not September.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and admit to it so I can get my jail credit time.
Mr. Hack, do you want to wait until June since you have to serve anyway, and that way you can talk to Mr. Collada before you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to wait until June to your next hearing, and then if you want to proceed, you can admit then?
Yeah, we'll do it. Because I just want to be able to go home. I've been stuck in this state for 20-something years and I'm ready to go back home. Y'all won't let me go home.
Where's home?
Alabama.
Okay.
If y'all was to let me out now, I would get treatment and go home and never come back to this messed up state ever.
Well, let's don't be insulting my state now. My Hoosier's got a good recruiting class in the portal. So you're gonna, when we let you out in June, you're gonna get treatment here for 30 days and then go back to Alabama, or you're going back to Alabama and get
I'm
treatment?
going back to Alabama and get treatment.
Okay.
I
Then
want to leave this state. I've been trying to leave this state since I was 18 years old. Y'all kept me here all this time.
Find things in Alabama that we have set up. I'll cut you loose in June, let you go back to Alabama to get whatever you've got lined up.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, what's your name?
Williamson, Sean Williamson?
It was our request last week that we admit the violation in time served for the time that he has in custody. And I believe the court indicated that at the time they wanted him to do, they would admit and revoke 11 months of the 12 months, which he didn't have a full amount of time on. I believe that if we do that, his out date would be May 12th. I filed a credit term sheet last week and I apologize to the court that I didn't update that, but it looks like he's got 154 days as of today's date.
Okay.
So, Mr. Williamson, do you remember when we spoke in the jail
Yeah,
and we were going to admit that you didn't complete your treatment as required?
so that'll probably be a time served.
Well, that's what we asked the judge for.
Oh, so you want me to say to May? I thought I was getting out today.
Well, I told you that we would ask the court for that, but this is what do we, is it accurate that you were placed on probation on this matter back on August of 2025?
Yeah,
And one of the terms and conditions of your probation was that you were to complete treatments as directed?
yeah.
Would you agree that you did not complete treatment as directed?
The thing is, they wouldn't accept me, so I mean, I didn't do nothing wrong, but you want me to admit that I didn't.
But you didn't complete the treatment at all, is that accurate?
No, but I paid for the fees and fines to have my probation transferred, and they told me they couldn't accept me, the treatment program, so.
Right, and you were supposed to go to treatment and you did not go,
I didn't they wouldn't accept me,
which means you did not go.
no.
Good. Is that it? It's good enough for me.
Okay, alright, that's it.
All right. Mr. Williamson, do you admit that by not completing treatment as directed, you violated the terms and conditions of your probation?
I'm just saying I didn't, I admit it, but I didn't do, I did everything I was supposed to do, but you should go let me out May 12th, right?
I don't have the dates, but that sounds like that's what's going to happen. But I need to re-ask my question. Do you admit that you violated the terms and conditions of your probation?
Yeah,
So you owe 14 days, so 2 weeks from today, and is that May 12th? Is that what? All right, Mr. Williamson, I'm going to revoke 330 days of the previously suspended sentence, give you credit for 154 actual days today, terminate your probation as unsuccessful. So you'll be out, it looks like May the 9th, and you're done with probation with this case. You do have a pending case. Let me tell you what that is so we're all on the same page. In Clarksville Town Court, I believe is what it was. 2203 CM 146, a trespass case from way back. And
all these charges keep on popping up that I didn't do, that's I don't understand it.
Here's the thing, that may not be accurate because you got arrested in May of 25 and there's nothing that says anything after there. There's no warrants for FTA, so I don't know what happened there.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, after I got shot, I was locked up here last year, and now that I realize it, I didn't never have no possession of meth. I ain't never got caught with meth in my wife in this state. That was pretty messed up. That whoever wrote the citation with the charge that I didn't do. That's pretty. I was just saying, Jacobs. I'm just trying to be honest with you. I mean, I was shot a year and a half ago. But now I'm starting to get my memory back, and I just think that was pretty messed up. Whoever wrote that charge on me, I think you should do some discovery and say that was pretty messed up how you did, Mr. Williamson.
Well, potentially. I mean, it's water under the bridge. I could also have the state investigate perjury if we're talking about you saying under oath you did something, now you're saying you didn't do. Here's where we are. Williams was then escorted to his apartment where we were let in. In plain view on the bed was a glass smoking pipe containing a crystal substance commonly associated with methamphetamine. So it's there. You could sue the officer for lying, but I don't think you'd win that one. All right. So I don't know about that Clarksville case, if it exists or not. It's not clear. So just be aware that it might. I would call Clarksville if I were you, but we don't need to discuss that today. Sending down the paperwork to have you released on May the 9th. And that is it for today.
I thank you.
You're welcome.
What happens when someone wants treatment, but the system won't let them get it until they're already locked up? This courtroom hearing starts with a man named David Hack standing before the judge on a probation violation. On paper, it looks simple: multiple failed drug screens, missed appointments, and a probation officer recommending consequences, but as the hearing unfolds, the situation becomes far more complicated. Hack admits he's struggling with substance abuse. He doesn't deny it. In fact, he says he was already trying to get help working with treatment programs, attending assessments, and attempting to enter rehab before being violated and thrown back in jail. That's where the frustration explodes. Hack explains the impossible cycle he feels trapped in. He needs housing to qualify for community corrections, but he can't get housing while locked up. He needs treatment to get released, but can't fully arrange treatment until he's released. A legal catch-22. The judge understands the irony immediately. He even says it out loud. Yeah, it's a circle. I get that. And for a moment, you can feel the tension shift. This isn't a defendant pretending to be innocent. This is someone openly admitting he has a problem, but also arguing the system is making it nearly impossible to solve it. Still, the judge doesn't ignore the facts. There were multiple positive drug tests. More than one missed appointment, and probation clearly wasn't being followed. So while the judge shows some sympathy, he also draws a hard line. Trust has already been broken. Hack then tries one final emotional appeal. He says if released now, he would go to treatment, leave the state, return home to Alabama, and never come back. And that's when the hearing takes an unexpected turn and the judge, half serious and half amused, responds to Hack insulting Indiana by jokingly defending his state, lightening the room for just a second before getting back to business. But underneath the humor is a real decision being made. Instead of revoking him immediately, the judge gives Hack one more opportunity. A new hearing is scheduled. More time to work with treatment coordinators. More time to try to secure housing, rehab placement, or some kind of realistic release plan. The message is clear: you're not getting a free pass. But you're also not out of chances just yet. Then comes another defendant, another probation violation. Another treatment issue. This time, the defendant claims he didn't fail treatment on purpose, the program simply wouldn't accept him, but the judge cuts through the excuse with blunt courtroom logic: you didn't complete treatment. That's the issue. Simple. Direct. No room to maneuver. The defendant reluctantly admits the violation, gets his remaining time calculated, and learns he'll be released in just days. But even then, the drama doesn't stop. He suddenly starts questioning his original charges, claiming memory issues after being shot and suggesting he may not have actually committed what he previously admitted to. The judge isn't having it. He immediately warns him, if he now claims under oath that his earlier statements were false, that opens the door to even bigger legal problems, including potential perjury. In the end, both hearings reveal the same harsh courtroom truth: the justice system may offer second chances, but only to people willing to stop fighting reality and start taking responsibility. And in these courtrooms, judges aren't just deciding punishment. They're deciding who's actually ready to change.